Hello,
Done this
hello
before.
everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. I just found out that we are the last panel of the Inkwell Beach program.
Oh, wow.
And so I just want to give it up to Team Inkwell Beach.
Yes.
You all
Go
are
Team
killing
Inkwell.
it, Can. Special shout out to Adrian and of course Cheyenne and the whole team. You all are amazing and I'm just so happy to be here. So we're gonna get into it. We don't have a lot of time and we have a lot to discuss. So my name is Janine Liebert and we're just gonna get right into it. We're not even gonna do a lot of introductions. We'll introduce ourselves and the contents of our question. So the first question I have is, how are you feeling right now? And I'm gonna start with Naja Bellin-White, the CEO of SS&K.
Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you all doing today? Can I just get a round of applause at the amazingness that this has been? How's everyone feeling? Because this, I've been in this industry for 30 years, and this is kind of a special moment. And I've worked around the world, but to see people across the continent of Africa that I've worked with, South America, across Europe and the US, all coming together and doing the amazing work, this is what it's all about. So I am feeling inspired.
I love that. How about you, Lucinda?
I'm
The founder of
the
Culture
Shaker. I'm feeling hoarse because I was at club when club quarantine goes wrong, but right all at the same time. So I'm usually a professional, work hard, play hard person. I can make that happen. But last night was like 90-esque, like the 90s. It took me back to my club days, Nels, The Tunnel, and my New Yorkers know, right? So we were really...
Shall I help you?
Yes, thank you. Oh my God, more champagne. So I'm feeling good, I'm feeling inspired, and I'm feeling like there's so many of us that are done trying to occupy and excel in spaces that weren't made for us. So it's really kind of cool now to just do it your way, on your own terms. And I'm finding so many connections here that are sort of on the same mindset. And I'm feeling inspired. And I'm feeling dope.
Nice.
Just dope.
Well, I am feeling like joy, so I wanted to cheers.
Cheers to you all, by the way.
Cheers
And
to you.
cheers to all of you.
And the Inkwell, I love the
And
Inkwell.
we love the Inkwell. We love the Inkwell coast to coast. We love it
Yeah,
at MV and we love it in Cannes. So what
Yes.
is better than that?
Wherever it goes, we flow.
And exactly. And I would say right now I'm feeling just a lot of joy and rejuvenation. And let's just get right into it. So one of the things I remember earlier in my life when I was first having babies, and I remember having my first miscarriage, and I thought it was the craziest thing, and oh my God. And then I found out, like, literally almost anyone who ever tried to have a baby had a miscarriage. But we never talk about it. We never, ever talk about it. And I find that transitions are also something we don't talk about. We don't talk about why we're in a transition, where we are, what we're dealing with. Sometimes we feel like we can't be honest or truthful about what it is because we're trying to do things a certain way. We have all had a series of transitions. You can pick one, and obviously I'll share about mine. But I would love for each of us to share something about a transition that they're either going through right now, and maybe one, and how that's impacted them and kind of where they are now with that transition.
So mine is wild because, and to your point, I've never been that person. So I've always felt like if you're going through a loss or you're going through something difficult, sharing it and being open about it is like the real most important thing. Like, I have so many close girlfriends, and then when I gave birth, it was awful. Oh my God, what an awful experience it is.
No one
Like
said a
being
word.
a new mom is like, yeah, the joy. Everybody talks about the joy. You see the commercials. It's actually pretty awful.
It's hard.
Like, it's really hard. And aspects of it that are really awful. And we just don't talk about it. And now these are my girls. So like, then the second day I'm like, y'all didn't tell me this shit. Like, you knew that all this and nobody told me, and now we all going through menopause at the same time. So
That's
now we're
fun.
like,
There's
girl, what
that
are
part.
you on? What patch are you on? So we are like cheering all our menopause stuff. And but recently for me, that's a little different. Is I was divorced, and then I met a new partner, fell in love, 7, 8 years, and last July 23rd, he died suddenly. He just never woke up. I woke up and found him gone. So you want to talk about transition and loss? You want to talk about process? I'm still in that. I'm in the swamp of loss in a way that just doesn't make sense. And somebody so full of life, he was supposed to turn 60, and I can tell you all the milestones, but that was like my forever guy. And dude just checked out. And it was the heart. And I really believe that the biggest cause of illness, especially in our community, is stress. It's stress. So I think we really need to mind our health and mind our stress and be really, what I realize now, that life is really about pockets of joy. That's all we're really after. Like, when you're in your pocket, if you're in a pocket of joy, because usually none of the three things come together at the same time. Your personal life, your career, your family. Some shit's always out of sync. Somebody's acting up.
Someone's doing
And then
something.
you're in real trouble when all of the three areas act up, right? So usually try to keep one. But there are gonna be moments where all three are feeling really good. And you're in a pocket of joy, just be in that moment and enjoy it. Because then you're gonna be struggling with one of the other areas. So right now I'm about pockets of joy. I'm dealing loss, but this moment, this week with my friends here, this is my pocket of joy. And I'm grateful.
And let me tell you, there is nothing like being in a pocket of joy with Lucinda Martinez. There is literally nothing. There's nothing better. But I'm going to stop myself right there. Go.
So I have so many. I think, I spent 7 years outside the country, in Africa, as CEO of Africa, across Europe, based out of London and back to the US. And the transition, Lucinda remembers, was hard. Started a new job at Vice Media, that was, and then transitioned to not, and all that comes with it. And it was hard. I think you found me hiding underneath my bed. And I think at one point she said, maybe just stay here for a while.
I said, just stay inside, lay
Just
low.
stay inside and lay low. Because it was like, you should
That's
be.
a pro tip.
Yeah.
Stay inside.
Stay
That's a pro
inside
tip.
and lay low.
This is crouching tiger
Crouching
time.
tiger.
This ain't-
Write that down.
Their family things going on. Divorce was filed. All the things were happening all at once. And I said to myself, God, I don't think I can, I can't do this anymore. And then you turn around, you're supposed to be this proud exec that's representing all the time, and I just couldn't do it. And you know what? I think, like Lou Bear, and we all use each other as each other's support team.
Yeah, they didn't even let me get grief skinny. I was like, well, at least maybe I'll lose weight and I'll get grief skinny. No, they were sending food. I can't even get grief skinny.
No, so, a lot of long walks, a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer. I'm a very prayerful person. I'm a spiritual person. I believe that you have to ground yourself. But I had to give myself the grace of time to get better. And you have to know, you got to get your pockets of joy, but you have to know that there are different seasons for everything. And just like you may have seasons of pain and you don't understand how you're going to make through it, God also gives you seasons of joy. And so you got to recognize those seasons and surround people in your life that really embrace you and lift you up just at a time when you think you can't take it anymore.
Yep.
I totally agree with that. And I think part of it that I would say, just having been through most of those with you both, is talking about it. Because I think when you talk about transitions and you talk about whatever is going on and you're honest and you have a sister circle like this, it allows you to feel less alone, less scared, or if you're all those things, at least comforted.
Yes.
Which is very, very important. For me, I'm probably having my biggest transition period now after 24 years of being at Paramount Global, MTV, Viacom, BET, whatever company you like, leaving there and kind of figuring out, okay, what's next? And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and it's even funny, like being here, people are like, well, what are you gonna do next? What are you gonna do next? I was like, I am going to be the CEO of Rest.com and the marketing officer for just doing me.com. That's what I'm doing.
Yep.
And just having a moment. And we don't take time to rest. We don't honor rest. We don't talk about rest. We act, and we all do it because we're
Yeah.
busy. So we're trying to do all the things. But I think this importance of rest and kind of what you were talking about around stress
Yeah.
is interesting. And we all have young children or younger, well, now they're like all adults, pretty much. But it's watching how all of this is impacting them and what's going on there. And I want to talk a little bit more about that. But before we leave this topic, I want to just talk about the media business. So on this stage is just...
Y'all, are we off the record?
No, I could go first.
I mean, the media business has gone through so many transitions, and I think it's always interesting when you're going through a life transition and then your whole business industry is also changing around you. So you're like, trying to get dressed on the Titanic like it's all crazy.
Yeah, well, I'd
I'd love to
say,
hear kind of what you thought.
Well,
your thoughts.
what I was saying
And where
is,
are we now?
I'm the chick playing the violin on the Titanic. Remember them? Like,
All right, yeah, absolutely.
right, so that was me. I was playing the violin. And I said it, though, but I realized, and I always knew this, 90% of what happens to you isn't even about you. Like, you gotta know that. Like, 90% of what happens to you isn't even about you. And when you get in trouble, especially in corporate America, is when you start to think it's about you. So if you just focus on the work and the results and remove yourself from the equation, that's like 70% of success in corporate America. And I realized that the media industry was changing. I already knew. I said, okay, this is what's happening. We are now, we know what the streamers, Netflix came in and they were faking it till they could make it. They changed the entire ecosystem, the pricing, everything that's happening with our actors, with it's because it was completely discombobulated. By just trying to win everything, I'm just gonna overpay for everything and then get all the people that are now responsible for 3% and double-digit growth. Those guys are being measured by growth. You're being measured by what they think you're gonna make and being overvalued. And they took everybody out that way. So you gotta realize that if I'm sitting in a media company and you're following the money, it's gonna fall apart. And what you have to do, and I decided, is I've been doing this for 30 years. I already know what's happening. It's gonna end. And I'm just going to make my exit. I am going to design my exit. I'm not gonna let them tell me what it's gonna be. So I was ready. I was ready from when AT&T came in. I was like, y'all ain't even number one in the phone game. We're number one in the media game, but you're gonna come in here and tell me how to run media. And I'm in the meeting, but y'all ain't even number one. T-Mobile's killing you. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? And then when the next set came in, and you're in the meetings, you're in the transition meetings, they bring all the McKinsey people in, and they did this analysis, they did all this stuff, and they said, look, if you take Warner Brothers, HBO, Turner, blah, 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 all these together, right, the whole are gonna equal even greater. I said, the math ain't mathing. I said, because so now what we're gonna do is gonna wipe out all the marketing teams, because Lucinda, if you could market Game of Thrones, you could market movies. I said, yes, but no, because this is the thing. And I'm sitting with the McKinsey people. Dude is like 22. I don't have a problem with 22, but I'm grown. And I already seen shit happen. So I tell him, listen, my Warner Brothers job is, and that team knows how to launch a movie. And their job is to get butts in the seats from Wednesday to Sunday. I said, my job is to get eyeballs on Sunday. I know how to create an event on Sunday. And I know how to build subscribers. Turners are building their job, and their ROI is built on income from their brands and their advertisers. So not same. I said, so what you need to tell me is, what part of the math is HBO represent? You tell me what that number is, and I will deliver that number to you. Tell me what the number is. Well, they couldn't tell you the number because they didn't know. And I just got stuck there. And then I kept waiting for my package. But then they kept promoting me and telling me I could do more. It was awful. So then finally I had to quit.
But I think what's hard is
It was awful.
you got to recognize what you know and when you got to call it. I mean, Lucinda's talking about being in the middle of it at HBO and then subsequently at Netflix. And I was at Vice Media watching this incredible brand, as controversial as it was, rise and fall before my very eyes. Where I sat here at Cannes and celebrated them as being #2 brand of the year, interviewing Malala Yousafzai and all that matters, and then walk out of here and then watch this shit implode in a meeting when you're like, but I still have to go out and be the CMO and pretend that it's all okay? When you owe half these motherfuckers money? The fuck? I'm sitting in meetings and shit. People are ducking. I'm like, I'm sorry.
But you,
So sorry.
because it's like, what's going through
What
your
the fuck?
mind when you're
It was
doing
like some
this?
out-of-body
when they have
experience.
they have the secret meeting. I'm heading a brand. I'm the head of brand. Google me. I was brand. And they're like, we're gonna drop the
Brand.
HBO. ¿Qué? You can't drop HBO.
Right.
You know how long it takes
You
to
know-
build a brand? 40 years. I bring the presentation. 40 years. It stands for quality. Blah blah blah. You can't drop the HBO. Without the HBO, it stinks. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You can't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You gotta be.
Then
in
what
meetings-
happened?
What?
But when you
Then they come out with Max and they say, but that's what I do. I'm out. I'm
But
out.
well, wait a minute. What about the chart that says we don't think we need marketing or brand at all? But
Okay.
you're the person in the room. You're like, well, motherfucker, who the fuck am I? Are you? But wait.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are
and
we
it's
doing?
kind of, that happens. And by the way, you still have to go on and pretend it's okay.
Oh,
So
no, not
in
me.
this,
Not
so
me.
In this, so
is
this
stupid.
is perfect. This is,
This is
So
stupid.
for some
Welcome to
people-
our regular
this
conversation
is
on a
like
daily
every day.
basis.
This
Gotta
is,
tell
this
'em.
is every day. This is
Well,
every day.
this is every day. We're like,
It's
this
every
is some
day.
motherfucking bullshit.
And Adrian let us
Oh,
get
wait.
on stage.
Can I
I was
please-
like, girl, she's
This is
right. Come on.
stupid.
Oh, wait, can I tell him the crayon analogy?
Oh, please.
Okay, okay.
This is good. Good.
No,
good,
this
good.
is good. This
Yeah.
is good. Wait,
Yeah.
can I
set
tell
it
him?
up.
Okay,
Wait,
fine.
wait,
You can
okay.
tell him.
Because we look out for each other. They call. By the way, they called me for that vice job. I said, no, but you know my girl, but Naja. Because when you get a job, you help people. Like, you see how other people, they all have friends everywhere. Like, they call, hey, that's okay. I got a friend at Nickelodeon. He could do X. I said, oh, okay. That's okay. I got a friend at Lionsgate. He could do X. That's what we need. I said,
That's
okay,
all
so
we
I'm going
need.
to post up her
That's
advice.
all we need. It's not
'Cause when
complicated, people.
I said, I got Janine at BT. She's at Vice. That's what we're doing. We got to do our own shit. Post up people in all the places, so then you could call. So when they call you for a job, you don't want it. It's not right for you.
And we
You
do
tell
this for
them
boards, too.
You tell them the 3 people that you don't. She got that Vice job because I said no, but I got the perfect person. I got the travel and leisure job because they call her for the board, and she says, but I got Lucinda.
Yeah.
That's how we do each
That's
other.
how it works.
That's how it works.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Do
by the way.
crayons. Do crayons.
Okay, so this is what
Stay
happened.
focused. Then you have
So
to get
she-
people
This is,
focused.
write this
Stay
down,
focused.
folks. Write this down.
So she shows up at the Vice job. I said, listen to me.
This is hilarious.
This is what you do with this job. Lay low. Lay low. Because you're going to walk in there with all your Jamaican, like, 4 jobs, working hard, trying to show all the shit you could do. You're going to fuck it up.
Thank you.
I said,
For
don't
my
fuck it
Jamaican people in the back, via Africa and Nigeria and all
I'm
the
Dominican.
things.
We have the same,
Booyaka, booyaka.
Right,
I'm
booyaka.
Dominican.
We get it. We're
got the
supposed to
same
work on it.
problem. We Dominicans. Same shit.
Let
Different
she
rice.
finish. Let she finish.
Same shit. Different rice. So, mira. So she is like, I said, listen, you're going to lay low. Like, just hold back. You're going to show up. You're going to go in there. And you're going to show up to these people with your fucking 64 crayons with the fucking sharpener. You never need the fucking sharpener.
It was beautiful.
You don't need the sharpener. If you're sharpening yellow, why? Why? I said, all you need is 8 crayons. 8. Show up with your 8. And when you looking like an ecru, fuck ecru. Just white, black, blue, primary colors.
Primary colors.
Primary
And
That's
you know,
that's my mode now.
I said, show up with 8 crayons and slow the fuck down. Because they don't like it anyway when you do that. Come in with like,
I mean,
because this one will present a business plan, a marketing plan, and ROI like on week 3. Why?
why? Why 4?
What for?
Why for?
Why for? No,
Why for?
first, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna tell them, I'm on a listening tour. Because when they take it, they go like, they're on a listen.
Yeah.
Go listen.
That's what I'm doing.
Go listen. Make
Okay.
people like you.
So good.
And then you talk business.
1 second.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so
Welcome to our regular conversation.
So that was the
they
crayon.
literally go just like this. Most people ask the question, what would you tell your 30-year-old self, blah, blah, blah. And we could totally answer that. But that was a really long time ago. Whatever. But what would you tell yourself, like, just 6 months ago that might have impacted kind of where you are right now or what you see kind of for yourself from a career perspective, because I feel like, and I don't know, well, I do know a lot of y'all, but I definitely feel like, particularly for black women, and I'm not saying black men are out of this, but there's just a lot of transition. There's a lot of tapping out. Give me the package. But there's something there, because when that happens, then there's a vacuum, I think, of women leadership in a lot of these roles, and it's unclear where that's going to land us in like 5 years. But I think, as we're thinking about what's next, like I was having a conversation with a former colleague, and I said, my recommendation to you is, you should pull out that contract and really looked at what your exit
Yes.
strategy is in the context of that. And they were like, oh, wow, I haven't looked at that in a while. I'm like, well, if I were you,
Actually,
that's
yeah.
what I would do. So that's like one, and I was just wondering if you could share like just some of those tips, because I think there's a lot of people, and I hope everyone like takes some time to share with your close friend, your sister's circle, the transition that you're going through, just so they know. And we like to get a heads up. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Naja, what's going on? 'Cause when I call her, I need to know. So it's just, that's everyone's homework assignment, and whatever that is for you, family, work, career, whatever. Okay.
Yeah,
so.
3 things. I think the first is protect your stress. But the way you protect your stress is, and this is like, we don't talk about this, get your money right. Get your money right. Get your money right. Stop living above your means. Stop spending yesterday's paycheck, which is that's important, because you want to make, if you have a year's worth of living expenses banked up, liquid, and then you're investing the rest, and you're doing other things, and you're investing in other areas outside of your job, then when things happen, you go walk away. If you cannot change something, you gotta change the way you think about it. If you can't change the way you think about it, you gotta get the fuck out. So you gotta be in a position to be able to get out. Do not be in a position where other people get to decide your freedom, because you should be celebrating Juneteenth every day. We free.
Ooh, that was a whole word.
We free. all
That's
right?
a T-shirt,
So,
by the
Happy
way.
Juneteenth for
Juneteenth
those
every
that don't
day.
know what it is.
Juneteenth every
the
day.
money is the first thing. The second thing is always remind yourself what you're in this for. And you got to tell you, only you know that when you hit your pillow. For me, nothing matters more to me than my family. That's it. It's my family. It's my family. It's what I go to at home. It's the people that I consider family. That's what matters to me. Anything after that, even the whole career thing, that's just, so what? Like, look, name a title. I've had a title. So what? It's still me. And don't believe that hype, because I already knew when I left that HBO job, I already knew the people that weren't going to call me after. I already knew who they were. I wasn't fucking with them anyway. So I was
And you
good.
wasn't wrong, was you?
And I wasn't wrong.
Oh, they
And I
be
wasn't
showing
wrong.
up too.
So yeah, so I think if you do those 2 things, and you always walk into a negotiation already knowing what you want and your worth. Know your worth going into a negotiation. I tell you what my range is. I tell you what I need to be paid. And I also tell you, if I leave, what I get if I leave, if it happens to leave, and it's mutually. You negotiate your exit package as you walk in.
So I will plus up what Lucinda said, but I think for me, I had to learn, being an overachieving Caribbean person, to say no. Know when to call it. And to Lucinda's point, if you have that nest egg, it helps you. But I recognize that all of you may not have that nest egg, because just know what gives you peace and joy. And also know you are not defined by that job. You are defined by your values. I'm going to tell you a quick story, and it's going to be quick.
Please.
When I first went to become CEO of Africa, within 2 weeks, someone called me on my phone and tried to bribe me to take a piece of business. And I knew, because of the values I have, I was going to say no, and I did. And guess what? I lost that pitch. It didn't really matter, because I could sleep at night, and I then went on to win so much business that I made everybody just my competitor and enemy, because my team was that good. But I could rest at night because my team was excellent, not because we paid our way and bribed somebody, but because we were so motherfucking good, they couldn't touch us. So whether I'm at Ogilvy, whether I'm at Vice, now at Global CEO at SSK MSC Saatchi, I know my value. I know my worth. I know when to call it. And I know when I absolutely will not work with someone for any reason whatsoever. I now have the power to say no. So know your power to say no and use it wisely.
That is, I love that. And I mean, I think, and I want to get into the CEO piece, but I don't want to lose this thought about preparation. And that's what I would tell my 6 month ago self, is what do you need to prepare for yourself based on what you just said, like what is important to you. So, obviously it's transitioning from Vice and being able to get this incredible, I mean, she is CEO girl, like a whole real big old company
Thank
and
you.
whatnot. Like, that's a big deal. Like,
You do
I
amazing.
mean, that's,
And they, look, we do amazing.
just tell the people a little bit about the company. Tell the people.
So SSK M&C Saatchi is a global integrated marketing firm. You may have heard some of the work we did, like for President Obama, Yes We Can. For the work we've done for the White House, the work we've done for Lance Armstrong, the work that we've done on behalf of Delta Airlines, JP Morgan Chase, social impact. I have it shipped now, thank you, Aaliyah, in the audience, is my newest client. We have the opportunity to work with brands that actually are affecting change. And I'm gonna say this, there's a burden and privilege of being in this industry. What side are you gonna land on? What is your burden and what is your privilege and how are you gonna use your platform? And guess what? I choose to work with clients and I choose not to take certain calls as well. I've earned that right and I decide how to craft my team that is around the values that I hold true. That's one of the reasons why I decided to come to SSK as their global CEO.
I mean, that just sounds, I was just like, I know all this, and I'm like,
What?
I know she dope or whatever.
We try. We around the world. We here.
We love it. But I'm just keeping on the preparation mode because I think, again, as I said, I'm reinforcing
Am I the
the
only
point.
one drinking?
You can drink. You can.
But I'm the only one.
Come on now. Seriously.
Salud.
Bullying is always here. John Renee, why you laughing over there? They're big up to our
He
little
wasn't
brother,
laughing.
John Renee.
Let me
Has a
stay
talent at
up.
UTA. You could try to be quiet over there, John Renee.
I know. There's a lot of people about to shut up. So, but just to this preparation point, so Lucinda's got all these things going on, and then she's like, bam. Here's the Culture Shaker card. We about to blow up here's my website. Here's my this, here's my that. I was like, God damn, I don't have nothing. I don't have no name of this company in my
Well, I was feeling really
I didn't have
badly.
nothing. But like, talk about when did you start thinking about it? And
Well,
Just a little bit about
I realized that when multicultural marketing did not exist when I started it at HBO. So I was always entrepreneurial or intrapreneurial, which is I've always created new ideas or things within companies that already exist. So I already had that. And that was a time, real talk, because we're doing real talk. I wanted to leave HBO. I felt like this was one of the times I wanted to quit. My time was up for renewal, and they wanted me to take over. I had the Dish business, DirecTV business. It represented $1.8 billion to HBO at the time, and I was running it. So they wanted me to take the telcos, and I was like, this is not gonna work. Like, ultimately, that whole affiliate business is gonna go on the wayside, and this is gonna be a direct-to-consumer business. And I always had multicultural marketing, and I was running HBO Latino and all that, and I said, but I only had like a team of 5 people. And in my team running the business part, I had like 200 all over the country. And on the other one, very little resources. And I said, listen, I don't want to do that anymore. I know how this works. If your career wants to move up, I'm supposed to be doing the big shit, and I don't want to do I think it's this little thing that you guys aren't paying attention to that's really the big thing. Give me that. Let me report to the CMO. Otherwise, because they wanted me, so what would it take you for you to stay? And I just made that up. I said, I would stay, you pay me the same, blah, blah, blah. Give me a promotion. It was crazy. Now give me a promotion. I only have 6 people, and then I get more money. I report to the CMO, and they're going to say, fuck that, you out. And I'm out. And then like, I like that. It was Richard Plepper, the CEO. Lucinda. I like that. And then I was like, oh shit, now I got to do it. Because it was a bluff. I just wanted my money so I could roll. And because I always thought I would only stay 5 years. And then every time I try to roll something, so I built this, and it became multicultural. And that ultimately, again, focus on the work. This is how I met some of the most amazing people I've worked with since. Janina, big fan. We did the Catch the Throne, a mixtape. That was like the first shit we did off the bat for Game of Thrones, and it was like the wildest, biggest thing we've ever done. And from that, we built one success after the other. And then a bunch of partnerships later with Macro. I was the biggest fan. I said, I got y'all, let's do stuff together. With D-Nice, like D-Nice, like everywhere. So like, we built this, and I realized that my brand is understanding how to reach the marketplace. Like we always say, reaching does not equal touching. And you could reach, but our world and our community, we're about touching, and we know how to do that. And that was my brand, and I realized later, let me do this on my own. I had bought the name, bought everything, and then just didn't get to launch it because everything, there was one personal thing after the other, and I was like the marketing person, you know, like the hairdresser whose hair looks fucked up, but everybody's hair looks good. So I was that marketer. I got nothing. My LinkedIn is shit. Everything is trash. But I've done it for big brands, and now I just got to do it for myself. And I finally got it together, and here it is.
And it's absolutely beautiful. Let's give it up to the Culture Shaker. So next year, Adrian, I'll have my whole little situation.
Sure,
my whole
got
little
her. I
situation
got her.
together. Don't worry about it. 'Cause
I got her. I got her.
I know y'all will tell us when to get off. So I would love to do one more question. Do I have time for one more question? Fantastic. And I gave your shout out, Adrian, earlier. I said thank you so much.
You know, we in
all
France and
love.
they don't play. They got to
Just
take all this
love.
away. Go
Love,
ahead.
love, love.
Janine, can you talk about just when your last question? One thing that's beautiful about our friendship, and anyone that knows us, and I'm looking at Darren McCoy, my new friend from London, who leads Doc Martens design creatively, globally. Shout out Aaliyah Kemet from Shipped. One of the things that we do.
Talitha.
Talitha.
Talitha been doing
Adrian
Talitha
Love
since-
used to see me in the halls of Ogilvy. John Renee, one of the things that we try to make a practice, we support everybody that we think is about something. We will make sure.
Get to that last part. I was like,
You know what I mean?
But
That's
about
but,
something.
but you
Gotta be
have
about
to
it. You
do
gotta be
that
about it. You gotta be
because
about it.
just because someone looks like you doesn't mean they support you, and just because they
Speak on
don't
that.
doesn't mean they don't. They're not. Remember that. Hold those relationships dear and help the person next to you. What the fuck is wrong with you if you're not helping somebody else out?
Right, Deb?
And we take that really seriously.
like really serious.
And if you all don't take it seriously, what's the point in what Adrian and Love Malone and everyone's doing? Why the hell are you here?
Like, and that's literally thinking that was actually going to be my closing. Is we have like one brain. It's really sad. So
It's beautiful.
It's so important because I mean, and it's funny as you know looking at Stacey King and like all that has happened. I mean, Macro. Like,
Stacey.
give it up for Macro. I mean, come on.
Macro,
Come on.
Come on, Macro.
I was going. My dad was. He's passed, but he was not well, and I was like, I can't do this job. Like, I literally cannot be running to New Jersey, coming back. I was just named CMO of BET. I barely knew what I was doing to begin with, and I was like, Lucinda, I need someone. And she's like, what about Janina Lundy? I was like, that is
Bring Janina. She's amazing.
Genius at Heartbeat.
And Janina didn't even know.
And what's she doing now? How about leading all the marketing at Heartbeat? Give it up. I'm
What
just
is
saying,
going
like, this is
on?
what- I mean, it's trajectory.
But how about OGs in the game like Unique
I
over there
know.
trying to be quiet and his ass been around for a long ass
I mean,
time
look,
on his
Unique
phone
type-
trying to
type-
pretend that he don't see us up here.
Look.
Unique. We see you.
I'm just so happy. Like, but you can be actually in the place where Unique texts you and is like, hey, you want to come to this thing? I'm like, I'm
jaded. He
actually
jaded.
here.
How about,
I was
like,
like, I'm winning. So I was winning on day one. I
we
was like,
take
I
this
don't even
around the
think-
globe though. We do this from continent to continent. We'll come to your continent.
We'll
do
come
it.
What I don't understand is why I got to come to France to see so many black people. This don't make no sense.
Why four?
Why
Okay,
four?
last
Okay.
thing.
But I love it.
Last thing, because we did touch on mental health, and I just want to come back to that and that notion of stress. And as we think about our transitions as we leave here, and we take all of this incredible pocket of joy and energy back with us to Africa, to Paris, to wherever we're going, Brooklyn.
Harlem.
Can you just say one thing or tip about kind of how you keep, with all these things we've talked about today, keep yourself sane, how we should think about our mental health and how we should prioritize it?
I will say the gift you gave Lucinda and I is our trainer, Robert Brace. And we all work out with him and his team, me 3+ times a week. I meditate, I pray, I work out. Working out is important. It keeps your mind tight, it keeps your body tight. I also pray it keeps my soul tight. And you got to make sure that that is part of your regimen. Do not take it for granted because too many people are dropping like flies, not realizing it.
I should look better, but no, I only go once a week. So for me, it's my therapist. Therapy is really important. Like, I would not have survived. I'm still surviving because I have an amazing therapist. Like what I said earlier, remember, like 90% of the things that happen to you are not about you. So it's really important that you get your mental health and talk to somebody so that you know what are the part that you bring to the table that you can remove from the equation, because that will trip you up in ways that you're not even thinking of. Like, you need to really own how you show up. Own it. And if you own it, if you get your mental health right and the things that you need to, I'm committed to always trying to be better. That's my thing. It's better. Like, I'm not, I backslide, but for the most part, I just want to be better and I want to do better. And you can't do that if you don't figure out what are the things that are happening from your childhood, your culture, what your parents did to you, all sorts of stuff that you bring to the table that don't allow you to show up in a way that could be productive for you. And if you don't protect your health, whatever that looks like. And for me, therapy has been amazing. I have a great therapist.
No, that's
And our
awesome.
friendships, of course.
Well, if you don't stop taking
Are you
that,
sorry?
like, seriously, we ought to whole state. Like,
Janine, what about yours? We're almost done.
What about you,
Okay.
Janine?
All right. I mean, seriously.
She knows.
What I was going to say was really critical is this. This is therapy. This is, and I am so grateful to have it multiplied. I was chatting with Talitha earlier today, and it's like there's certain people, like, you just see them and you're like, I don't know why you're like making me cry. I'm like, immediately, I think I cried all the way down the croissant after you. That's like, what the hell? But but to really surround yourself with women and men
That are rooting for you.
that are rooting for
That are
you,
really rooting
and
for
that are really rooting for you, and are fine giving you the like raise up, but also the like, we really don't want to do that.
And who will drag you out from underneath the
They
bed
will.
if needed?
They will
Yes.
drag you out of the.
Or tell you to stay in it.
So I'm gonna invite Adrian up here.
Go ahead, lady.
Notice I
Sorry,
had to come
Adrian.
in.
Oh,
Thank
Adrian
you,
got the
ladies.
champagne. Hi,
So
Adrian.
thank you so much. I mean, I'm super excited to have these ladies here. They have paved the way for so many women who have come work with sisterhood, and we're just super grateful for you. We'd love to invite you guys up, Yara and Carrie, to the stage as well.
Thanks, everybody.